Hey yo, what is up guys? Mr. Thunder Ray here, and today we're going to be checking out how long it takes the average achievement hunter to unlock every achievement in Cyberpunk 2077. I won't be going into too much detail on how to get specific achievements, or it's not necessarily a guide, but I will provide the order I got them in to serve as a roadmap, so you can get them as efficiently as possible. There are missable achievements, so I will be covering every crucial step you need to take to ensure you don't miss any. It's quite easy after you know the order, so stick around and you won't have to do a second playthrough or waste any time. But I do suggest you watch all the way through so you don't miss anything during a mission or spend attribute points where they're unnecessary. At some point you'll need level 16 body, level 18 technical ability, and level 6 reflexes for some achievements. So be sure to hit those minimums when spending points, or save the game and reload the game after getting the achievements. But as always, there will be spoilers, so if you don't want them, I'd avoid watching the entire video during your first playthrough. If you don't care and want to get every achievement in one playthrough, we can get started. So True Achievement says that Cyberpunk takes about 60 to 80 hours to complete, so we can use that to see how accurate that is. But with that being said, let's begin. So it's pretty simple in the beginning. You're just going to play through all of the main missions until you reach the level Nocturne Op 55N1, also known as the point of no return. So while doing these missions, be sure to select all life path related dialogue buttons. When you can do it, it'll unlock whatever the method, the achievement really quickly. It's just the dialogue option that has your life path title next to it. There are plenty of opportunities throughout the game to do it, so it's not too hard, but just be sure to select them all in the beginning because it is technically missable because there's only a certain amount of dialogue options throughout the game. At some point you'll be able to play as Johnny pretty often, pretty early on, and he one-shots people with his revolver in the flashback missions, so you can unlock Gunfu in one of these flashback levels. You'll also notice other achievements will just kind of happen during random combat. I got right back at you around this time, but at this point in my playthrough, my achievements were kind of messed up still, so I have no idea when I got it, but it's pretty straightforward. It's not missable. I'm sure you'll get it just by playing the game. I did take a break in between main missions from time to time to unlock miscellaneous achievements like this one. I took a break to unlock 2 heads, 1 bullet. Again, you don't have to do this now, you can do it later. I just did it to break apart the missions and kind of enjoy different aspects of the game while I played. It's also important to note that we're going to be looking for the mission Search and Destroy. It's the mission following the parade level. You just have to be sure to save Takamura during the after the building blows up. So once you get ambushed and fall through the floor, instead of following the main hallway to the right, you're just going to go on ahead to the left over here and kill the enemies and follow this new path. You'll eventually get to the upper floor, and you'll get a new prompt to save Takamura. So once you do that, then you're free to finish the level. But now that we have that out of the way, we're kind of set to just kind of grind on all the other missions. So the first thing I did was unlock Damon in a Shell. You can look up a guide like I did, or you can just follow here. In Pacifica, there will be a group of enemies. Just kill them, loot them, run away so they respawn, and repeat until you get Detonate Grenade. You'll need a better cyberware for more RAM, so go ahead and buy one and equip Detonate Grenade. Then just walk up to a group of enemies with grenades and use it. So obviously here I spend a bit of money on this new cyberware. I do suggest not spending all the money that you get because we will need a lot of money later on in the game. But for this one you will need the better cyberware for a lot of these achievements, so you might as well get it now. Along the way you'll also start getting phone calls for side missions, so go ahead and start doing those missions while you get everything else. There's not really any particular order for those. You can just do them how you want them. Do the fun ones first, save the fun ones for later. Doesn't matter, just go ahead and start doing them. But like I said, since we do need a lot of money at the end of the game, I did the breach protocol whenever I found one of these little hacking stations. So each one of these data mines counts as a daemon too, so once you advance intelligence and get a better cyber deck, you can get a buffer of 6, and it's pretty easy to get all 3 data mines and unlock the Christmas tree achievement like I did here. Next, I got the Rough Landing achievement. All you need to do for this is get the Berserk cyberware that you can get from the Ripper Dock in Westbrook for cheap. Then either find weak enemies standing near each other, or what I did, which was a little bit harder, was just injure them a lot and then get above them, jump, and activate the cyberware to kill them both. It's a little bit more chaotic, but it works nonetheless. Up next, I got the Gunslinger. Just go ahead and buy the Kerenzikov. Sounds about right. Cyberware. Just go ahead and piss off some cops, and then activate the cyberware when one throws a grenade, and then shoot it with a revolver. Pretty straightforward. The main thing is getting that Kerenzikov cyberware. That way you can slow down time. Anyway, back to those phone calls. Like I said, just go ahead and do those side missions whenever you get a phone call. The first one I finished was the storyline with Rogue. Just do her missions whenever she calls you, and after you go on a date with her at the drive-in theater, you should unlock it. She has 2 missions. They're called Chippin' In and Blistering Love. Pretty simple. Next, I banged Pan Am and completed her storyline. Again, just do her mission whenever she calls you. Her missions are Riders of the Storm, with a little help from my friends, and a Queen of the Highway. Along the way, be sure to use your melee weapons from time to time because you'll unlock True Warrior as well. I also went ahead and did the quick and the dead while grinding out my melee kills because a small group of enemies can easily be cut down pretty quick, and you can get a few kills for every cyberware use. You just need to use the same cyberware we got from the Gunslinger achievement, which again is that Kerenzikov cyberware. A little later on, I saw some fucked up shit with River and completed his storyline. His missions are I Fought the Law, The Hunt, and Following the River. Next, I unlocked True Soldier. If you somehow make it through the full playthrough and don't get this one, I'd be impressed. It's pretty hard to miss this one. Then I completed Judy's storyline. Her missions are Both Sides Now, X Factor, Talking About a Revolution, Pisces, and Pyramid Song. Following that, the last side character storyline I did was Carrie. His missions are Holding On, Second Conflict, Alike Supreme, Rebel, I Don't Want to Hear It, Off the Leash, and Boat Drinks. All the side character storylines are pretty straightforward. My main advice is if you're ever expecting a call and not getting one, you can always just wait 24 hours in-game and run around a little and they should call. It also might help to check your text because I think sometimes they won't call you unless you finish the text conversation. Not sure if that one's a legit thing, but just a little tip. Next, I started grinding out all the gigs and scanner missions, and this is definitely the longest part of this game, getting all these achievements for all the gigs and scanner missions. So all of my scanners were already on the map, so they're easy to find. If not, just be sure to check the map at various times in the game because some are only available at night. Gigs, on the other hand, must all be completed in the area before you get a phone call and unlock more. There is an icon of the character in each region that's giving you the gigs, and it actually tells you how many total there are. My biggest tip here is, since again we're going to need a ton of money at the end of the game and you're going to be killing a ton of people doing these missions, as you can see, I completely looted every person I killed. Upgrade your body, since we're going to need that later anyway, and you'll be able to carry more also. Then just sell everything at drop points or merchants, and you should get close to 20,000 for each drop point you fully sell to. Anyway, after doing a bunch of these, you should get enough XP for max street cred as well, and get the Legend of the Afterlife achievement. Some of the scanners and gigs are a lot easier if you do them stealthily too, so if you use the Distract Enemies quick hack a lot, you'll pretty quickly unlock that Must Be Rats achievement as well. From what I can tell, the enemy just has to be distracted for it to count. The quick hack doesn't have to completely finish and for them to wander back to the original position for it to count, so that's useful. And you'll also notice by looting everyone, you're starting to collect blueprints for legendary weapons. You should also be a high enough level to get level 18 technical ability, so go ahead and do that and buy the Edge Runner Artisan perk. This allows you to craft legendary weapons. Deconstruct guns you've looted and convert them into better parts with other perks, and you should unlock the Master Crafter pretty easily as well. This next part is important. So during the Haywood gigs, Padre will eventually give you a mission called Psychofan. So up until this point, you've acquired most of Johnny Silverhand's items automatically, possibly without even realizing it. So far, you should have the tank top automatically from Tapeworm. And Chippin' In, the one with Rogue, it'll give you his jacket and his aviators and his gun. The one we want to make particular note of here is his pants. So again, the mission is called Psychofan, and it's found in the suitcase while in the apartment. This one is missable because you can only be in the apartment during this mission, so be sure to grab the pants. The last item are his shoes, which can be found in a locker during the family heirloom mission, which you may or may not have completed already. It's just a gig over in Westbrook. It's not missable, but it's still helpful to keep an eye out so you don't have to come back later. But once you get the tank top, aviators, jacket, pants, gun, and shoes, the achievement should pop. That being said, Family Heirloom is one of the last gigs, so around this time I unlocked Little Tokyo after the last gig, and Scanner Hustle was done. A few hours later, I finished the last gig in Scanner Hustle and Watson as well, and got its elementary. Next up was Haywood and the Mean Streets achievement, and then City Center and the City Lights achievement. Both for some reason didn't pop, but you'll just have to take my word for it. I took a little break because the gigs and hustles were really repetitive, so I went ahead and drove around the map discovering all fast travel data terms. Just use a map online. It's pretty easy to figure out. Just drive around the map. But after getting back to work, I finished up the gigs and hustles in the Badlands, which took a while because the last hustle was hard to find. It's right on the border between areas, so kind of got it mixed up. But then I did Santo Domingo, and lastly, Pacifica was super quick. They do go by pretty quickly once we have enough money, since we no longer have to loot every body, we just have to complete the mission. So that being said, we do need 1.7 million eddies, so once you have enough, you can just breeze through the rest of the missions, but be sure to hit that 1.7 mark. Big note here is I do suggest making frequent saves because, as you know, Cyberpunk is really buggy, and one time my hustle got glitched and it wouldn't complete, so I had to load up a save and redo a couple hours of work. So just be sure to save periodically. Anyway, now that we have that done, we can start spending our money. Start by buying an implant for each system and the body part. These are found at the Ripper Docks. You can use the cheapest ones, but I got the legendary Mantis Blades because they're badass. You'll also need to visit a couple different Ripper Docks because they don't always have an implant available for every slot. Next, now that all of our gigs are done, you should get a few texts about some cars available. Just go around buying them with all of our money. They can be found on the map or in your mission section, but there are 26 total. Then I finished all the Cyber Psycho sightings. You probably completed a few already, but they're especially easy because we're overpowered as fuck now. If you don't have them already, there's maps online. Just approach the area and the mission should appear. They're pretty simple, just beat up the Cyber Psycho and call it a day. Next, just run around and find the rest of the Terra graffitis. Again, there are maps online. Super simple. The last thing we'll need to do is buy the second heart implant from the Ripper Dock in Haywood. You will need a level 16 body, so be sure to save enough attribute points during your playthrough to get to that level 16. I do suggest using them earlier because, again, it will help us to carry more inventory space so we can loot more bodies and make more money when we sell them. Anyway, once we have that second heart implant, just go ahead and die to an enemy with low health and then kill them when you come back to life, and you should get V for Vendetta. Now that that's done, though, we are safe to go past the point of no return. So go ahead and enter the elevator and get things going. And then once you reach the roof to talk to Misty, go ahead and make a save so you can revert back here. This is a very crucial save, so be sure to do that. But then from here, it's pretty easy. It's just grindy. All the options you selected at the beginning lead to a different ending. So that being said, I did let Johnny take control first. You'll do a pretty badass mission. And then after defeating Atom Smasher, just go ahead and make another save. Don't overwrite the Misty one, make a new save. And then just go ahead and cross the bridge. You'll let V keep his body. He'll cuff Pan Am. You'll do some cool stuff in space, and then you'll get the Sun achievement. If this is your first time completing the playthrough, you'll also get the World achievement. Now go ahead and revert back to the save after fighting Atom Smasher, and then go into cyberspace, but this time be an asshole and enter the well instead. You'll get an alternative ending and the Temperance achievement as well. Next, revert back to the save on the rooftop, and then select another option. In this case, I chose Pan Am, and then you'll do your mission with her instead, and then go ahead and enter the well at the end, and you'll get another alternate ending and the achievement. Now revert back to the rooftop one more time, and then select to trust Arasaka. So this one you'll only be able to do because we saved Takamura during Search and Destroy. But then at the end of it, you'll unlock the double achievement. Now be sure to select just one more gig so you can keep playing, or you can just revert back to a save that I'm sure you made before you entered the point of no return. This part's important because if you haven't already maxed out a skill yet, like I hadn't, all you need to do is go back and equip that Berserker operating system that we bought for the Rough Landing achievement. Just go ahead and activate it, sprint, and then slide, and then pause the game. From here you can just go AFK, and then the achievement will eventually pop. It does take a while, but at least you can just leave your console on overnight and let it rack up XP for you. It is kind of a bug, but we're gonna use it to exploit an achievement. But that being said, our total time did end up being 55 hours and 49 minutes, so just under what True Achievement said. If we include the AFK time for the 10 out of 10 achievement that we were just talking about, it did total me 119 hours and 56 minutes. But since it was AFK time, I'm not going to count it. So in the end, I'm going to consider it 55 hours and 49 minutes, which I think we made great time. So that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy. If this helped you at all, please drop a like and consider subscribing. A lot of work goes into these, between all of the achievements, recording and tracking time, and then going back into editing, making sure to include all the critical steps. These videos take hours to edit and produce, so I do appreciate all of the support. But again, thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Mr. Thunder Ray, signing out. Peace.